Gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5. One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a buzz like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really beg.
We decided to focus on the concept of the pink tax. The pink tax, by definition, is the extra money that women have to spend on essentially the same items that men pay less for. Our group was presented with this idea of the pink tax by our lovely teacher, Miss Wolford, during class.
I was interested in this topic because I never noticed a difference in pricing until I heard what the pink tax was. Then I became a lot more aware of it in my local grocery store.
By identifying as an ignorant male, I never realized that male products cost that much cheaper than female products, and I just think that's really unjust.
We wanted to see how gender impacted people's opinions on pricing of gender-specific items and whether or not people knew what the pink tax was.
In 2015, the U.S. Senate conducted a study that claimed the national average price for feminine hygiene products was 13% more than the national average of men hygiene products. We used this study to form questions for our test.
We created a Google form survey that asked voluntary participants the following question:
Age,
gender,
grade,
opinion on price,
if they buy female or male products more often.
and if they've heard of the pink tax.
We posted this survey on social media. We also went around the school and asked willing classmates to take our survey. Will you take this survey?
Sure.
Assumptions for the chi-squared independence test are: the data is obtained through random sampling, the expected value in each cell must be 5 or more. Unfortunately, one of our limitations was that we could not get a completely random sample.
The null hypothesis is that gender is independent or not associated with opinion of pricing of gender-specific items. The alternative hypothesis is that gender is dependent or associated with opinion on pricing of gender-specific items. That is our claim. We sampled 145 people and asked the question, how do you think products advertised towards certain genders differ in price? The options were: female products cost more than male products cost more than female products, or male products and female products are equal in cost. We plugged in our observed values into the matrix and ran the chi-squared test for independence and got these for our expected values. We ran the chi-squared test for independence. Our graph was a right-tailed test. We used the alpha value of 0.05 and degrees of freedom of 2 to find the critical value, which was 5.99. We then ran the test statistic and found that chi-squared equals 15.68, which is in the shaded region. Our p-value was 0.0039, which was less than our alpha value of 0.05. With this information, we reject the null hypothesis. There is enough evidence to support the claim that gender is dependent or associated with opinion on pricing of gender-specific items.
Null hypothesis. Gender is independent or has no association of the knowledge of pink tax. The alternative hypothesis. Gender is dependent or has association of knowledge of pink tax. This is our claim.
We sampled 145 people and asked the question, have you heard of the pink tax? The options were yes or no. We plugged in our observed values into the matrix and ran the chi-squared test for independence and got these for our expected values. We used the chi-squared test for independence. Our graph was a right-tailed test. We used inverse chi-squared with an alpha value of 0.05 and a degrees of freedom of 1 to find our critical value, which was 3.84. Our test statistic, chi-squared, was 5.48, which is in the shaded region. Our p-value was 0.019, which is less than our alpha value of 0.05. With this information, we reject the null hypothesis. There is enough evidence to support the claim that gender is dependent or has association of knowledge of the pink tax with an alpha value of 0.05. In both tests, we reject the null hypothesis. We gathered enough data to conclude gender is associated with knowledge of the pink tax an opinion on prices of gender-specific items. Our evidence supports the national survey and the idea that females understand what the pink tax is and that female products cost more.
One of our errors was that we included only categorical tests in our video. We did have another numerical test. Our evidence from that test supports the national proportion. Unfortunately, we could not include this in our video because we paired similar female and male products ourselves.
During our collections, we had a far greater percentage of females who took the test. This is because of selection bias that we did not properly prepare for.
Mambo number 5.